Hello and welcome to this collective reading. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before, and a brand new welcome to those of you who haven't. It's great to have you here. My name is Dylan and we're going to be pulling some cards today to see what the collective energy is. And this is also a timeless reading, so whenever you receive these messages is the right time for you. So as we're moving into this reading, I'm getting a sense of almost a feeling of stuckness or a kind of block. So I felt it'd be good to focus on that and see what wants to come through in terms of wisdom as to how you can move through any blocks that you're experiencing at the moment, and also what might be causing them as well. So let's start with the Wildwood Tarot and see what we have come through for us today. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so we have the Five of Arrows, we have frustration. This card is called frustration, so that makes a lot of sense when we're looking at blocks, when we're looking at challenges, when we're looking at feeling stuck and not knowing how to move forwards perhaps. I've just had the words trial and error come through, so it feels as though the path that you're on is a very long path and something that you're very dedicated to. You can see that the man in this card is firing arrows at this goat and he's missing every single time. Like every shot that he's fired, he has missed this goat. So I feel like this is actually career related, and this is because the goat is related to the sign of Capricorn, 10th house. We have that kind of energy of career, life purpose, legacy, building something that lasts for a long time. So I feel like you're on a slow and steady track, and that might be where the frustration's coming in. If it's not career in particular, then it'll be something that you're very dedicated to anyway. So it could be a sense of purpose that you have around something, whether that's what you do within your job or not. This is something that is a part of your experience here in this lifetime. This is a part of your life purpose. So you may have tried many different things on this path, moving towards whatever this is, whatever your goal is. You may have, I feel like you kind of butted your head with certain things. So maybe like feeling as though you're banging your head against a brick wall sometimes, wanting to break through, wanting to get through. I'm feeling like a glass ceiling now as well. So this could be finance related. There's definitely an energy of like trying and this kind of trial and error energy that's coming through, and something's making it very difficult for you to actually reach where you want to be. And I feel it's a block that you've been carrying for a long time. I also feel that you've come a long way, and actually you may be closer to success than you think. Sometimes we can feel like we're very far away from succeeding in what we want to do, but actually it's just around the corner, and we need to just tweak our energy a little bit so that we can receive what's coming in. I'm also getting a sense of stubbornness as well. Again, this sense of like butting heads. If you think about two goats or two rams butting their heads together with their horns, there's a real conflict of interest. They're the words that just came through, and it actually feels like it could either be on the outside, so you're butting heads with someone outside and perhaps one or both of you are quite stubborn, or it could be that you're butting heads with another aspect of yourself within yourself. So you might feel that you want to go one way, and then an aspect of yourself actually wants to go another way and do it a different way. And it feels to me like there's this internal battle, this internal clash. And that would really come together with the Five of Arrows, which would be the Five of Swords in the traditional tarot. This sense of conflict, difficulty, challenge, and perhaps feeling like you're on the losing side. That's something else that just came through as well. So there could be an element of, I almost don't want to use the word, but almost like victimhood or victim mentality coming through. And that's not a judgment, because all of us drop into that at some point. You know, when you've tried so hard to get to a certain point in your life and it's just not working out, it can feel like, oh, why me? Like, why doesn't it work for me? Why have these people over here managed to do this and I'm struggling? But I will say that it is something quite deep-rooted, and it's something that you're already aware of at a certain level, and it's something that you're working through and healing. So I'm just getting this vision of the spiral So you're spiraling closer and closer towards your authentic self. And as you come round each time, you're bumping up against whatever this limitation is, whatever this block is within you. As I said, this could be related to someone else as well. And what I will say is that it's probably, well, it definitely is actually a reflection of your own block, your own stubbornness within yourself, and you butting heads with an aspect of yourself is being reflected in another relationship in your life, or in a relationship. That's for some of you, not for all of you. For some of you, it might just be that you're butting heads with yourself. So let's see what else wants to come through. Okay, so Queen of Vessels, Salmon. I'm noticing that both cards have a figure that is leaping. And so I feel like you're at a point now where you really want to jump over whatever this blockage is. I'm getting the sense of almost like a huge tree that's fallen and is blocking the road or blocking the path ahead. And you're getting this feeling that you're building up strength and energy to overcome whatever that block is. So I'm noticing the hazelnuts here as well. Hazelnuts being related to wisdom, and also the salmon leaping up to eat the hazelnuts. In Irish mythology and Celtic mythology, it's all about working with the wisdom that you've gained, that you've gathered. So you've been gradually jumping higher and higher. That's what I'm feeling. So each time you come round to this point on the spiral, you'll need to do a certain level of inner work, and then you manage to get past that. So you leap that tree, let's say, that's in the road, that huge log that's in the road, and then you come round again, and then you have greater wisdom and you're able to overcome again. I'm getting this sense of resilience and almost like repetition, and maybe a feeling of feeling sick of having to go through this thing over and over again, and that's what's bringing up this frustration. It's like, oh, I thought I'd dealt with this thing, I thought that I had moved on from this, and here I am again, having to leap, having to use this energy to dig into. I feel like you're digging into what this is and what's causing this blockage. But what I'm noticing in this card is that you've got a waterfall in the background, and so that's an energy of flow. But as you'll know with salmon swim against the currents. They swim upstream to get to a certain point so that they can breed, so that they can lay their eggs. And this is tiring. It's very, very tiring. Imagine this raging torrent coming down and a salmon swimming upstream, and how difficult that would be. And I'm just getting the sense that that's kind of where you're at the moment, where it's like, oh, this is tough, this is hard work. I just had the words "can't get off the carousel" come up as well. So you're probably feeling like at this point on your healing journey that it's hard, it's difficult, you're coming round and round again, but you know that you can't get off. You can't get off this carousel or this roundabout, this merry-go-round, because you're on it now and you're aware, and you can't unknow or unsee these things that you've realised. And that's tough, that can be very difficult. So I actually want to say at this point, if you do feel like you're butting your head against something and finding it difficult and swimming upstream, allow yourself to feel how you feel, allow yourself to feel that frustration, let that anger out if there's anger there as well. Really just kind of shake it out and get this sense of shaking, breathing deeply. You may have tears come to the surface when you breathe deeply, and they could be tears of frustration more than sadness. And I would say just let those things move through, because this is the Queen of Vessels, the Queen of Cups, and she's in touch with her emotions. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, she's got one foot that's touching the water, and she's actually, she's in touch with how she feels, and that's how you need to be moving forwards. Sometimes when we get frustrated and we have a block, we go into our heads and we try and figure it out from a head point of view, from our minds. And I feel like this experience in your life and this challenge and this upstream swimming that you're doing needs to be felt through, so you need to feel your way through it. There will be certain parts of it that do require logic and planning, but at the moment it feels like an emotional block, and you can't think yourself out of an emotional block. So this is all about feeling. And I just had this sense of maybe some of you out there thinking, oh, I don't want to feel this again, I don't want to have to keep feeling through these things, but I'm just getting this message coming through that that's the only way. The only way out is through. That's another sentence that's coming up as well. So what is this? Okay, Two of Arrows, Injustice. Again, same kind of energy of like, why me? Why do I have to keep going through these challenges? Why have those people got this thing that I want very easily, or, you know, at least easily, more easily than you have it? And that's how it feels. There's this blockage here, and it is around the heart. Definitely now I'm seeing these arrows crossed across this woman's heart, and she's got her hands there as well. There's a sense of imbalance and a sense of injustice. So there could be a deep well of sadness underneath this. If there's something in your life that you genuinely can't have, and you know that you can't have that because it's physically impossible, then there is grief there that needs to be felt through, to be felt, to be shifted, to be experienced, and to be transmuted. Because I feel like you're holding on really tight to something, and the more that you hold on tightly, the less you're going to be able to move forwards, especially if you're holding on to something that can't physically happen. There needs to be acceptance and release to move forwards. So this is a very deep message for particular people watching this video. You know, I'm feeling something around maybe perhaps not being able to have children, for example, have biological children. That is something that cannot be changed, right? And a lot of people struggle with that, and it's a very painful experience. And so somewhere along the line, it needs to be accepted, no matter how difficult that is. You know, there's only going to be more and more suffering if that acceptance isn't found, and that's not an easy journey. So, you know, for some of you, it is going to be a case of really having to dig deep, and there will be grief around those kinds of instances. And that's just a message for particular people, but yeah, it feels like it's important to mention. And let's see what else we've got here. How can you move through these blockages? What's the best way for you to care for yourself through this time? Because I do feel like it's important to have a very deep level of care, especially if you're really feeling quite down in the dumps about not being able to move forwards in the way you would like to. Okay, we've got the Knight of Cups. Again, this is all about feeling. It's about moving forwards because this is a knight, but at the same time, this is cups and this is a feminine energy. And so something really does need to be, I just heard the word isolated. Something needs to be isolated and felt, so that's really interesting. It's almost as though there's all of these threads all woven together, all of these different emotions and maybe different blocks and different experiences that you've had. And this one thing in particular needs to be isolated and untangled from all of the others. I'm seeing a thread now by itself, not tangled up in a knot of other things. So I feel like journaling would be a really good idea to get to the root of what it is, what this block is related to, and sitting in contemplation. You know, this knight, even though knights are to do with action, this is quite an inactive card in the sense that the man in this card is sitting, reflecting, he's pondering, it looks like he's deep in thought, and that feels like it could be a really good approach. Not necessarily thinking too much, but writing out all of these emotions, how you feel, and being kind to yourself through the process. I'm thinking about the traditional tarot now, where in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck at least, the Knight of Cups is advancing forward on his horse and he's holding a cup and he's ready to offer this cup. But the person in this card isn't ready to offer this cup. In fact, he's not even holding the cup. He's in a space where he's not ready to offer this love. I want to say love in this instance. He's not ready to be open with these emotions with other people. This feels like a very solitary experience and healing process where it's really important to be quiet and go within. And again, I'm getting this sense of perhaps grief that needs to be shifted and moved, energy and motion, emotion. These things need to shift, they need to move. So this could be what I was talking about before with the shaking off some of this energy, move your shoulders around, shake your body, put some music on. Quite often when we do that, we dislodge emotions, and very often when we feel stuck and blocked, it's because we're not letting certain emotions flow through our body and we're actually very rigid. And so moving your body is a really good way to get these things to shift and move. A lot of people resist doing that because they know that on the other side of that, of the shaking and the moving, there's usually quite a big emotional release. But don't be afraid of the emotions. Like, they are your friends. They are messengers and they need to move. There's no use having this energy trapped in our bodies. We trap this energy and then we wonder why we're not manifesting what we want to manifest, or we're not moving forwards or making progress. And that's because we're keeping ourselves small and we're holding on too tightly. Let's see what else wants to come through. How can you move through this block? Okay. There's definitely a kind of waiting game going on here. Patience. Seeing, like, usually with this card it would be about balance, and I am noticing that with the two flowers we've got two there that represent this state of one and the other, and being able to balance that out. So this could have to do with relationships as well, but I'm feeling with this being Pentacles, again I'm talking about finances, talking about maybe career, could be even a deep healing that can affect you on a physical level. But these roots really need to grow first. And if you notice, both of these people are contemplating. They are sitting, feeling, maybe even daydreaming a little bit. I do feel like there's a sense that you need to be still for a little while. When we keep trying to push an outcome, when we keep trying to push our way through something, but we're not addressing the root cause, we just keep coming round and round and round and hitting the same block again. And taking action from a place of just feeling blocked and low and like, oh, what's the point? Doesn't really bring us the results that we want to have. So I feel like taking some time out to just reflect on how it is that you feel, what it is that you truly want. How do you feel when you know that you're not getting that thing as soon as you would like it? Or perhaps, again, as I was saying before, that this thing just isn't available to you. How does that make you feel? I'm getting a strong energy around the throat, like a block here of something that needs to be expressed. This could be like when you need to cry and you don't let it out and you get that lump in your throat. It could be that. So again, emotions needing to be released. Or it could be words that need to be spoken. And these words may just need to be spoken to yourself to begin with. Again, I'm getting this feeling of writing. You could write yourself a letter. You could write out all of the things that frustrate you at the moment. You could write out all of your feelings, get it all out on paper. And if you want to, then you could bury it or burn it safely, of course, and just release it. Release that anger, that grief, that frustration, because I feel like this energy just needs to move, because otherwise it's going to keep coming around and around and bogging you down every time with the same thing. There's definitely a sense of loss that's involved in this, and some kind of loss in the past has affected how you see the future, and it's created a blockage where perhaps you feel that if you go for what you want, then you're eventually going to lose it, and so you don't want to feel that pain of losing it. But I just had the word, it's better to have loved and lost than to have not loved at all, come through. So if this is related to a kind of relationship, then that's definitely pertinent to the situation. But this could also apply to life purpose, career, any of those things really, that when you truly want something, you really want it, it's your goal, but you're afraid to go for it in case you lose it. So, you might build up this great life that you've always wanted, but on the other side of that is that fear that it would then go away and that you would be heartbroken. But it's better to go for it and experience it than not do it at all. Let's see what else we've got here. Sky Father, trust in the universe. I'm going to say, trust that the right things are going to happen for you as you move forwards, and the best way that that's going to happen is that if you shift this energy and release these blocks by letting this emotion, this energy move around your body. I'm noticing here the lightning in the background, and I'm seeing that as energetic connections all through your body, in your energy field and within your physical body, like synapses firing. And for some of you, you could be changing your mindset around something. The Sky Father, the sky, the air is related to the mind. And I do get this sense that you're shifting patterns, and this is about, neuroplasticity, being able to change the way that your mind works, shifting your beliefs, shifting your limiting patterns in order to move forwards. And that's deep work, and it can be very tiring. So, these figures in these cards could actually be just taking a break from all of the changes that they're making in their lives. And there's definitely a sense of patience needed here, because it takes time, it takes energy, it takes patience, and it takes wisdom. And you may need help, you may need other people to help you, maybe through a coach or a counsellor or a psychotherapist. Maybe you'll listen to hypnotherapy recordings, you might be listening to guided meditations to shift your perception, to release things, to release emotions, to look at things from a different perspective. So there's a lot of inner work going on at the moment. I'm getting the sense here with this eagle swooping in. He's got his talons, or she's got her talons out, and they are grasping for something. They're about to catch something. And again, I just had that feeling of isolating a certain thread, metaphorically, within your mind, within your being, a thread, a pattern, a habit that needs to be plucked out and looked at by itself, identifying a pattern and a belief that's holding you back from what you want. And that's not always easy, as I said, it's work. So I just had the message to ask an ancestor. So we've got this elder man here, an elder in the background with his white hair and his white beard, giving off quite a wizardy vibe. So if you work with perhaps a wizard guide, this card showed up when I did my Merlin reading, so you might be interested in watching that. The link will be in the comments below to my collective readings playlist. And yeah, it could be a wizardy guide, or it could be an ancestor, or both. Someone that wants to come through and share their wisdom with you to help you to identify what this pattern is. All you need to do is either sit in meditation and ask for this help, for this guidance, or you can ask before you go to sleep. And this can then come into your mind. This guide can come to you and help you through your dream time. So you could have dreams then that help you to identify what this block is. So let's pull one more card. I've got the Forest Fae Oracle. Let's see what else wants to come through. Okay. Hedge Guardians, walk Widdershins and seek the land under the hill. I really feel like the reason that you're finding it difficult to move forwards, and there's a block and there's an element of being stuck here, is because what you're doing is very different to what those around you are doing. I just get this sense that you're walking against the grain. Again, we've got this message coming through of the salmon swimming upstream. Walking Widdershins is walking in an opposite direction. And so you're actually on a path that's very different to a lot of people's paths. And so there aren't many people that you can turn to probably in your everyday life to speak to about this, because not many people walk this path. A lot of people are walking in one direction, and I feel like you're coming in the other direction and wondering, which way do I go? How do I do this? So it is very important to ask for spirit help, to ask spirit guides, ancestors, because they can see from a high perspective, which also brings in the energy of the eagle as well. But yeah, walking Widdershins, you're not meant to be like everybody else. You're not meant to do things in the same way that everybody else does them. You're here to do something very different, and that's not an easy path to walk. So when you come across these blockages, you know, who's going to be able to give you advice if they're all busy doing like everyday things and living lives that are quite, let's say, conventional? How are they meant to give you any advice around that? So I feel like spirit advice is probably going to be the best option, really, through your ancestry and spirit guides. Also, maybe if you pull cards for yourself, that could be helpful. You know, get into your intuitive self, your intuitive state, rather than trying to come at this from the mind. It would be very helpful to call on your intuition to come forwards. So I do feel one more card wants to come through, and then I'll draw this to a close. Respect, Nine of Bows. You're hunting for something. This comes back to this card here. Bow and arrow, bow and arrow. You're definitely on the hunt for something. It's really important that you respect your own process, and that actually you come from a space of deep knowing of yourself, deep respect of yourself, making sure that you take extra good care of yourself through this time, because as I said, it's a tiring process. And surround yourself with people who do respect your process as well, not people who are going to try to push you to go in a direction that isn't your own direction. That can build more frustration. Surround yourself with people who get you and who understand your journey, or at least have a similar journey going on, or choose to be in solitude, because what you really need is to be able to hear your own wisdom, your own guidance, and to be able to walk your own path, as the guy in this card's doing here. So I hope this reading has been helpful for you. Thank you for being here. I hope you move through your blocks with a sense of ease and grace over the coming weeks, and whenever you've watched this video is the right time for you, as I said. All of my links are below if you're interested in booking a reading, following me on Instagram, or any of the other places you can find me. Then yeah, definitely go and check that out. And I will speak to you all again next time. Take good care. Bye bye.